on Cronkite News, Emmitt Smith is on a mission to tackle the fentanyl crisis.
Plus, ASU and U of A women's volleyball went head-to-head last night in both of their first games in the Big 12.
And with less than a month away from Election Day, we have a recap of last night's Senate debate between Kari and Ruben Gallego. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Ann Perry.
And I'm Brady Hanson. Thank you for joining us.
The NFL's all-time leading rusher is now leading the charge in an important crusade.
Football legend Emmitt Smith is promoting the Ready to Rescue campaign. As our Kayla Marina reports, Smith is hoping to save lives in a rising opioid epidemic.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith kicked off his second year with the Ready to Rescue initiative, which focuses on breaking down the stigma around opioid emergencies.
No one wants to see someone else lose a life, whether it's accidental or if it's an opioid overdose or something like of that nature. No one wants to see anyone lose a life, and the best way to try to prevent that is to be ready, hence Ready to Rescue.
Ready to Rescue hosted a tailgate ahead of the Arizona State football game against the Kansas Jayhawks, where individuals had the opportunity to talk to Smith about the importance of the campaign.
It's just connected to everything where we can reach students, be at the games. People tend to, party and have a lot of fun at tailgates. So having this type of conversation be present at these events is really important.
Narcan nasal spray is a treatment designed to rapidly reverse the effects of a life-threatening opioid emergency. And with Narcan now being FDA approved, spreading awareness and carrying Narcan can make all the difference.
The whole mission here is to spread more awareness, to let people know that you don't actually have to be a drug user to have Narcan on you. You can actually be a lifesaver by having it on you.
Here at the Ready to Rescue tailgate, Narcan informational kits are being handed out to better prepare individuals. What to do in an expected opioid emergency: lay, spray, and stay.
In 2022, 22 high school students died each week in the United States from an accidental overdose. So with Narcan nasal spray being FDA approved now for over-the-counter, you can get it at any pharmacy, you can order it on Amazon. It's kind of like a no-brainer.
This crisis hits home for Smith as his sister-in-law, who battled with cancer, needed help during her treatment. And because of that experience, it opened his mind to the possibilities of what others may be going through.
I lost a teammate back in the late 90s to a drug overdose. If Narcan would have been around in his house when that situation occurred, it's possible he would still be alive today. So I think the Ready to Rescue campaign is really all about getting to the individual as quickly as possible.
With opioid overdose being the leading cause of accidental death in the United States, Smith thinks it's important for people to be prepared and aware. In Tempe, Kayla Marina, Cronkite News.
The Ready to Rescue campaign continues to travel around the country and promote Narcan and educate individuals about the opioid crisis.
This week, the first AIA Football Open Division rankings were released, and seeded second was the Desert Mountain Wolves, who have started out their season 5-0. Tonight, Desert Mountain will face off against Cactus Shadows, who is 5-1 and looking to disrupt the Wolves' season. Desert Mountain has shut out their last two opponents and is looking to keep their strong form rolling into district play. However, the big test will come on defense, trying to contain Cactus Shadows quarterback Donovan Dixon.
Game 6, we're looking to go 6-0. I know Cactus Shadows is on a roll. They're having a good year. They played Higley tough last week. They're scoring a ton of points. And in my opinion, they probably have the best, as far as what I've seen on film this year, this will be the best skill player we faced all year. And I couldn't imagine too many guys in the state that they can run around and sling the ball like the quarterback over at Cactus Shadows. So we'll have our hands full, but we're looking forward to it.
Earlier today, ASU baseball held its first media availability at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. It provided an opportunity to see some new and familiar faces as the Sun Devils embark in a new era in the Big 12 Conference. Last May, ASU ended its historic run as in the Conference of Champions. While this season marks a fresh start in the Big 12 Conference, there will be a learning curve. The Sun Devils will have to adjust to their new opponent's playing style, which is why focusing on the fundamentals of the game will be a key heading into the season.
Getting to know the style of baseball that certain programs run, that'll be the adjustment. You start understanding in our old conference that what certain teams like to do, and you can prepare for them throughout the week. This will kind of be little bit brand new.
It's the same game, so I feel like just playing our game and, competing throughout this fall and, working hard in the inter squads and practices, I feel like everything we do right now is going to translate really well to the Big 12.
Arizona State women's volleyball played head-to-head against Arizona for the first time since both teams joined the Big 12 Conference.
Yeah, there was a huge crowd on hand for this one as the match went into 4 sets. Our reporter Stella Tai has more on the hard-fought match.
Wednesday night, Arizona State kicked off volleyball actions against their in-state rival, Arizona. This is the first matchup between the two schools in any sport this season. 4,630 fans geared up and packed their Desert Financial Arena, setting a season-high attendance record and marking the 4th largest crowd all time in Sun Devils history.
We got this swimming team. They're doing their thing, running laps. Some of the football players, tennis. We had a lot of athletes out. It's huge. Yeah, I loved every single moment. It was so loud in there, I couldn't even hear the calendar set.
After splitting the first 2 sets, the third one was the culmination of the closely contested competition. The Sun Devils rallied from behind and reached set point 24-23, but the Wildcats refused to go down quietly, sending the battle into extra points. Despite failing to convert on the previous 5 set points, ASU broke the stalemate at a 29-29 tie with 2 strong kills to close it out.
Train really, really hard, and you can tell because I never felt nervous during that set. I was like, we got it. We're gonna serve and we're gonna dig.
The Sun Devils not only showed great resilience in this rivalry matchup, but their ranking also keeps moving up. After starting the season with only 2 losses and 10 sweep matches, they are currently ranked 13th, which is the highest under the second-year head coach J.J. Venniel.
We really do try to focus one match at a time. We got to grind away just like we got to grind away out on the court.
The all-time series between ASU and Arizona was locked at 56-56 prior to the match. This statement win gives the Sun Devils a temporary upper hand. What's more significant is that they put a stamp on their first matchup in the Big 12 era. In Tempe, Stella Tai, Cronkite News.
ASU improves to 15-2 on the year. Next up, they head to Lubbock on Saturday to take on Texas Tech.
After the break, the next generation of sensational volleyball talent is on the rise.
Beach Nation partnered with the ASU Beach Volleyball team to host a clinic. Beach Nation and the ASU volleyball team came together to host a youth clinic in Tempe. We'll show you more when we return.
Plus, could cool weather finally be on the horizon for Arizona? We'll have your full forecast after the break.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
The future is looking bright for some young athletes in the Valley.
Our DeAndre Sanders was in Tempe with a look at a group of kids who are getting a head start on the competition.
The journey to success starts with a single serve. That's the message Beach Nation Volleyball is teaching the next generation of players. Beach Nation and the Sand Devils partnered for the second Building Brilliant Futures event in Tempe.
5th to 8th graders that are able to come in and work with our athletes and just like you said, like be mentors for them. And our whole goal of this program was to allow them to come check out ASU and see what it's all about.
Each class during the 3-day event has a specific theme that focuses on growth mindset, conquering fear, and teaching kids how to learn from challenges beyond the sport.
We're demonstrating really good leadership and what it means to be a good teammate and a player on and off the court for these young girls and guys and whoever wants to play the sport. Yeah, it really helps them hone in on their skills, learn how to work with partners. Again, they can apply this to many different aspects of their life.
Whether you're an expert or new to the sport of beach volleyball, Beach Nation Volleyball is providing expert coaching to teach and polish the skills of players of all levels.
When I was younger, I wanted to be them so bad and play on a stadium and all that jazz. So it's just being able to help them see that it's possible.
The number of kids attending the camp saw a big jump from last year, increasing from 40 signees to 81 this year and expected to grow. In Tempe, DeAndre Sanders, Cronkite News.
The final day of this 3-day free learning event is October 23rd.
The Cardinals have been playing a disciplined brand of football so far this year, having the least amount of penalties in the NFL.
That's one of the things I'm talking about, Teo. We put a lot on our guys to understand the rules of the game and to play clean football, especially with what I want of us, how we play with effort and violence and motor and effort and all that stuff.
And this may or may not come as a surprise, but when it comes to betting, Cards fans are losing some of the most money compared to fans of any other NFL team. The company GameDom calculated the odds of a $100 bet across the league. Steelers fans won the most money, earning on average $878 for a $100 bet. But Cardinals fans were in the bottom 5 of all teams with a loss of $745. And Saints fans lost the most, to the tune of more than $1,000 for every $100 bet.
And now it's time for a look at our top 3 sports stories from across the nation. Tennis legend Rafael Nadal has announced he will retire after the Davis Cup in November. The 38-year-old star has amassed 22 Grand Slam titles in his career. The Los Angeles Dodgers have forced a Game 5 in the NLDS against the Padres. They will look to keep their playoff hopes alive after delivering a dominant 8-0 shutout against the Padres. Hurricane Milton severely damaged the Tampa Bay Rays Tropicana Field Stadium. The stadium was serving as a base camp for first responders when the storm's 120-mile-per-hour winds partially damaged the roof. That's it for our Cronkite Sports Across the Nation report.
Leaves are falling and so is the weather. Are cooler temps finally on the horizon?
Amon Abraham joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect.
Yes, thank you. We're going to go ahead and take a look into these low temperatures for the evening. As we're seeing a significant drop off as we are leaving that 100-degree temperatures and starting to take a dip into that 90-degree weather. By 10 p.m. it'll be 90 degrees, which is way better than 102 that we're seeing at 6 p.m. Now, as we take a look into these low temperatures, we will see that it is going to be 75 degrees in Phoenix, and even on the Arizona-California border, we are seeing that 70-degree temperatures as well. And even up north, we're seeing really nice cool temperatures with 36 degrees up by the Grand Canyon. Now, as we take a look into these high temperatures, we will see that it is still quite hot. It will be 104 up along the Arizona-California border. However, if you are looking to take a holiday getaway, up north, it'll be a perfect place, as it will be 80 degrees by the Grand Canyon and even 78 degrees by Flagstaff. So if you are seeing a perfect and you want to get away from these 100-degree temperatures, up north will be perfect. Or even better, we can even take a look over by California, as Los Angeles and San Francisco will start to see a little bit of cloud and rain headed their way. So if you are wanting to get away from that hot weather here in Phoenix, it'll be the perfect time to do so this weekend. Now, as we actually take a look further into the week, we will see that this weekend will be 104 degrees on Saturday, but as we take the rest of the week, it'll actually see a little bit of a drop off. So by Tuesday, it'll be 99 degrees, which is starting to see that even it's still above average for this time of year. We actually see a drop off on Friday with 86 degrees, which is actually below average. So we are starting to head in the right direction as we enter fall. That is it for Cronkite's Weather Center. I'm Iman Abraham. Back to you guys.
Coming up next, no surprise that Arizona is a key battleground state for this upcoming election.
That's why several candidates are making a stop in the Valley this week. After the break, we'll hear more from the candidates on both sides.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X @CutASU.
I'm Lauren Avenatti with a look at the news from across Arizona. A big debate last night between the two candidates running for Arizona's U.S. Senate seat. Cronkite News reporter Alyssa Firestone was at the debate and is here to tell us more about its impact.
U.S. Senate candidates Kari and Representative Ruben Gallego squared off in the debate as they both run for former Senator Kyrsten Sinema's seat, discussing issues of the border, abortion, and the economy. The debate started off with a strong fuse.
She has lied to Arizonans about the 2022 election.
He acts like he cares about us. I want to speak to the women out there, but
the topic of immigration and border security was discussed first, one that has been very hot in Arizona as it shares its southern border with Mexico.
Well, I think a border wall is important to a security package, but it also has to be coupled with technology, manpower, and then laws that come behind that.
Right now, we know that we have terrorists that are coming through. We're worried about a potential terrorist attack on our home soil.
The candidates bounced from topic to topic over an hour on stage. Abortion was another hot topic.
Victims of rape out of state so they could get an abortion. A 10-year-old baby girl, victim of incest, had to leave her home state and the comfort of her family to get an abortion.
It's said that 60% of women who have an abortion would have chosen not to have one if they knew there was financial help out there or emotional help.
From speaking in terms of financial affordability, the candidates next discussed the topic of inflation, an issue that has held a strong impact on the Valley.
The price of everything has gone up. The price of eggs up over 100%. The average monthly mortgage payment has gone up 105% here in Arizona.
Do you fight inflation by actually looking at how you can bring down costs? Number one, we have a big opportunity right now. We need to stop the merger of the grocery stores in Arizona. By allowing Kroger and Albertsons to merge, they're going to have 70% of all grocery store controlling customers. That'll raise prices.
Republican political activist Charlie Kirk spoke on behalf of Lake post-debate and delivered his stance on the topic to the media.
From an Arizona-specific standpoint, Kari Lake will get inflation under control, will curb the cost of living, and will make Arizona affordable.
To go to college.
Gallego spoke to the media as well, giving his final closing statements for the night.
We're going to focus on Arizona, and we're going to do for them. And she could talk all she wants about personalities and personal stuff, and it's just not going to sell.
Both candidates are working to win over a small share of Republicans and conservative independents who are open to splitting their vote between parties. In the newsroom, Alyssa Firestone, Cronkite News.
According to an October 8th poll from Emerson College, Representative Ruben Gallego is leading in the Senate race by 7 points. Previous polls conducted this month also show Gallego ahead, leading as much as 13 points. Meanwhile, polls show the race for president in Arizona is a toss-up, which is why both candidates are making stops in Arizona over the next few days. Vice President Kamala Harris is making a stop in the Valley tonight, appearing at a campaign rally in Phoenix. And former President Donald Trump will also hold a rally that will take place on Sunday in Prescott Valley. Both vice presidential candidates made stops in Arizona this week. Iman Abraham was at a town hall in Mesa where J.D. Vance reached out to one specific group of voters.
Republican Vice President candidate J.D. Vance has come to Mesa to discuss his policies to voters and also Hispanic voters here, as early voting has now begun in Arizona. Hundreds of people excited to hear Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance at an event hosted by CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. Vance directed many of his comments to Latino women.
I know that you want schools that educate your kids instead of indoctrinate your kids, and I know you want to raise your kids in safe communities.
Vance says he and Trump won't win the state without the Latino vote. Hispanic voters we spoke with say they appreciated his efforts to reach out.
I think as far as reaching out to the Hispanics, I feel that Trump and Vance are very genuine in reaching out to us and not pandering to us as the left has done.
Part of the Republican Party platform calls for the deportation of millions of illegal migrants. They also ask for reforms such as border security, including completing the border wall. J.D. Vance says he met one woman in Arizona who says she immigrated legally and wants people to do the same.
And I think she felt personally offended that so many people are coming in here violating the rules that she had to follow.
Governor Tim Walz was also in Arizona on Wednesday. At an event in Tucson, he told supporters the immigration issue should unite us, not divide us. Walz also stated that Vice President Kamala Harris would work for an earned pathway to citizenship for those who've lived here in this country for years. In a split state, immigration and the southern border are important topics as both campaigns voice their plan of action in hopes of winning Latino votes. In Mesa, Iman Abraham, Cronkite News.
We are 25 days away from Election Day, and early voting has begun in many states, including Arizona. For more local election coverage, visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org. Hurricane Milton has passed through Florida, and now the cleanup process can begin for Tampa and the surrounding areas. Milton made landfall as a Category 3 storm, knocking out power for more than 3 million people. Up to 18 inches of rain fell in some areas, with the storm surge reaching 8 to 10 feet. State officials said they completed more than 40 rescues overnight. At least 5 people have died. The Disney Magic is going to cost a bit more. Fans can expect to see a 6% increase for Disneyland tickets. There will also be an increase on annual passes, and the Imagine Magic Key Pass will set you back nearly $600. That's it for your local and national headlines. I'm Lauren Avenatti. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Lauren. Coming up next, Hurricane Milton and Helene ripped through Florida, impacting millions.
While first responders and volunteers are helping victims, there is another group helping our four-legged friends. We'll share how different communities came together to help out our furry four-legged friend.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
how students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X @CutASU.
Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene ripped across Florida just weeks apart, bringing floods and destruction.
While first responders and volunteers are trying to keep people safe from the danger, some are helping our furry friends. Animal shelters in northern states are also lending a helping paw by caring for cats and dogs who are in the path of severe weather. The help also goes the other way, with trained search and rescue dogs lending a helping paw and boosting morale.
A testament to each animal's resiliency to be able to take in change and be able to just kind of like pivot like this.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Brady Hanson.
And I'm Ann Perry. Thank you for joining us.